Good morning. Welcome back to Market Monday. Thanks for joining me each week and keeping up to date on what's happening in the housing market. Our market here is Northwest Ohio, Lucas County, and Northern Wood County. So if you live in those areas, this information covers your area. So we had 38 sellers commit to putting their house on the market in the next 21 days. These are our coming soon listings. And as you can see, we had 193 new listings that are already on the market available for buyers, which is great news. We had 231 that went contingent, accepted offers, and went off the market last week. And we had 130 that went pending. So these are usually cash deals or homes that are getting ready to close. And then we had 273 that actually sold and closed. That's a pretty staggering number, actually. That's more of a number we usually see at the end of the month, but I think because of the holiday, people are rushing and closing sooner and maybe not waiting for the end of the month. So we'll see what those end of the month numbers look like. In our region currently, we have almost 1,200 houses for sale, 1,135 that are active available on the market, and we have 55 that are in the coming soon status. So Oregon and Point Place, your numbers actually went down. Well, actually, Oregon went down a little bit. Last week, we had 23 active and coming soon listings. This week, we only have 19. We didn't have any new coming soons in Oregon, and we only had 2 new listings in Oregon, which is what's affected that number and made that number drop. Point Place, you also had a little drop from 32 active and available and coming soons down to 28 with only 3 new listings last week. And actually the coming soon number is actually 0. So I'm confused why there's a 2 in there, but I know there were no coming soons in Oregon or Point Place last week. So I apologize for that. Contingent and pending, we had 8 that went off the market in Oregon, and we had 11 that went off the market in Point Place last week. It was a big week for Point Place. We also had 9 that sold and closed in Point Place and 4 that sold and closed in Oregon. So, and those numbers, of course, change every single week. So October statistics are in. The total number of home sales actually decreased a little bit in October from October of 2020 down 0.2%. So not a huge decrease, but a little bit. And that number is actually, let's look at September. Our number was 1,145 that sold and closed. So the number is down since September, but it's also down a little bit from October of 2020. Are we starting to see the market slow a little bit? We absolutely are, but going into the holidays, it's perfectly normal this time of year. Average sales price last month was up 12.9%, and the number of days on the market is was down to about 62. Interestingly enough, it was down about 7.5% decrease from October of 2020. But if we look at September's number, it's actually up from September, because in September we were running about 55 days on the market, and we're up to about 62. So home sales have slowed a little bit. We are not headed into a housing crash or anything. It's just normal at this time of the year to start to see a little bit of a slowdown and homes stay on the market a little bit longer. Some of our buyers have kind of stepped away from the market, though it's really a good time to get back in the market because interest rates are down. New listings last month was 1,038 new listings. So that number was down 0.3% from 2020. But let's look at September. September, we had 1,145 new listings. So that number is actually down from that number also. But this is our local housing market. Like I said, it includes Lucas County and it includes Upper Wood County. So just a quick update. I want to talk because we're hearing so much in the headlines. And they're kind of terrifying at times because they just kind of jump out at you and say things like, oh my gosh, foreclosures are up 49% over last year. And honestly, yeah, they are, but there was a moratorium because of the pandemic last year. So we didn't have the number of foreclosures that we normally would have. So last year, you can see that we had 5,603 foreclosures in August. And in August of 2021, yep, they were up this year to 8,348. But just so you know, like if you go on to read these stories, sometimes they actually explain these numbers and they tell you that if we go back to the last normal year in the housing market, you'll see that we had 28,000 foreclosures that were started in August of 2019. So it's good to put these things in perspective, which is why I like to talk about them, because sometimes the headlines don't tell the whole story and it makes people a little bit nervous. Here's another thing that they've been talking about in the headline: showing time. The monthly the monthly showing index has started to level off. So from spring, absolutely, the number of showings decreases as we go into the fall holidays. But if you see, our index currently in September was 175.5. In the early spring, when things were super crazy and competitive, it was up to like 280, 283, 284. But you can see that those 175 is actually kind of a normal market for us, where that yellow dotted line is right here. That shows you our normal market. And that's about exactly where we're supposed to be. So don't let these headlines scare you. And this shows the index over the last actually 5 years. And if we look at 19 and 18 and 17, you can see that our showing index is considerably higher than it was then, because we're at 175.5, 19 we are at 112, 18 we are at 106, and 17 we are at 111. So 2020 and 2021 have been off the chart amazing years for showings, offers getting accepted, number of sales, number of houses on the market. Like it's just been very hyper competitive, very busy, lots going on. And I expect to see this continue through the next year, year and a half anyways, until the supply catches up with demand. And I'm not sure how soon that's going to happen, but I think we got another good year, maybe two, and before we see that swing start to go the other way. So I just want to wish you happy Thanksgiving. I hope you're spending time with friends, and I hope you have a wonderful holiday, and I will see you back here next Monday. Thank you, and God bless.